This story begins by showing a former Marine captain named Eddie Deacon, who was applying for a job at a company. However, the female employee who interviewed Eddie said that there was no suitable job for Eddie, judging from Eddie's background, who has a psychological condition that is still vulnerable after retiring from the Marine Corps. In a pitiful tone, Eddie told the woman that he had been unemployed for a year, and urgently needed a job to support his wife and daughter. Because he couldn't find a proper job, Eddie even said that he was willing to do any job, including being a cleaning service officer. When Eddie was about to get back to his car, the woman then called Eddie and told him that there was a job that might be suitable for Eddie, but with minimum wages and long working hours, which is being a security guard at a mall, and Eddie could go straight to work. Without thinking, Eddie immediately accepted the job. On the other hand, the convoy of the U.S. Marshal was seen transporting and escorting an 11-year-old girl named Jamie, who is scheduled to testify in court tomorrow. Jamie is the main witness in an organized crime trial involving a crime gang, the 666, one of the most feared crime gangs. However, on the way, the marshals realized that they were being followed. Shortly after, the convoy was ambushed by a group of heavily armed professional mercenaries. One of the U.S. Marshals then asked Jamie to hurry to escape into the forest and seek help. Although all the U.S. Marshals were killed in the incident, Jamie managed to escape. The mercenaries realized that Jamie had run away, and immediately cleaned the scene to remove any traces. Turning to Eddie, who seems to be still traumatized by his past as a soldier. Eddie then called his wife, and told her that he got a job as a security guard. Eddie also did not forget to send his greetings to his beloved daughter, whom he had not seen for a long time.
I may have found a job, just to tell her that I love her.
Eddie then headed to the mall to get to work, where he was immediately greeted by a man named Vance, who was the senior security guard there. Vance then introduced Eddie to his 3 other colleagues, Ruby, Mason and Johnny, who greeted Eddie quite kindly. The mall's security system was slightly compromised, and Vance assumed that the problem was caused by bad weather. Vance then gave Eddie a security guard uniform, and immediately showed him room by room in the mall. Eddie wondered why the mall could be guarded by 5 security guards when it was closed. Vance explained that at the mall, there had been a robbery that killed dozens of people. Vance also tells that gangsters control the city, so that crime often occurs. Vance is known to have secretly fallen in love with his co-worker, Ruby, a woman who likes to drink. Eddie finally got to work, and as he wandered around, he saw Jamie banging on the mall doors, begging to be let in. Without thinking, Eddie then opened the door, letting Jamie in, who was in a hysterical state until she finally collapsed unconscious. Eddie then laid Jamie on the couch while Vance tried to call the police. But strangely, they didn't get a phone signal at all, and the phone line was also disconnected. Not long after, a man named Charlie then came to the mall and claimed to be Jamie's father and was looking for his daughter's whereabouts. Without the slightest suspicion, Vance then ordered another security guard to come down and take Jamie. When Jamie is brought downstairs to meet Charlie, the girl screams hysterically, terrified at the sight of Charlie, so she rushes off. Seeing this, Eddie forbade Vance to open the door for Charlie. Charlie is actually not Jamie's father. He is the leader of the mercenaries who attacked the U.S. Marshal's convoy and planned to capture Jamie. Charlie disguises himself as Jamie's father to gain access to her. Charlie then offers Vance some cash to hand Jamie over to them. Vance seems interested in the tempting offer, so Eddie is forced to hit him. Because Eddie refuses, Charlie threatens him and then leaves to prepare an ambush. Charlie then explains his plan to the mercenaries, which is to surround them from all sides, set a perimeter, and disable their car. Jamie finally comes out of her hiding place and asks Eddie to promise to always protect her, which he accepts. When they are all assembled, Mason tells Eddie and the other guards about Jamie's father, who used to be the money man for the cartel, but decided to betray them by exposing the cartel's crimes to the police and was eventually killed. Jamie secretly witnessed the murder and has since been placed in witness protection, so she can testify in court against them. Upon hearing the story, Eddie then places Jamie in a storage room to keep her safe, but still keeps in touch with her over the radio. Eddie also asked Jamie not to open the door for anyone no matter what happened until it is completely safe. Vance and the other security guards seemed so scared because of the threat. Charlie and his gang manage to kill the highly trained government agents, so they might easily finish off the security guards. However, Eddie, who is a former Marine, is not afraid of Charlie's threats. He had thought of some strategy and tried to calm them down. Eddie and the other guards then make homemade bombs and various other traps to defend the mall and protect Jamie. Charlie begins his assault by ordering one sniper to enter through the roof, while the others try to infiltrate through the back door. With the help of Vance and the others, Eddie manages to kill several mercenaries. However, the sniper managed to break into the mall building and attack Vance.
Damn it!
Luckily, Ruby arrived just in time and saved him. Charlie then withdrew his troops and ordered them to clean up the crime scene before starting the next attack. Eddie and the security guards then devise a defense plan by having Vance, Ruby, and Mason stand guard at every entry and exit of the mall, and ask Johnny to signal any patrolling police passing by using a flashlight. Not long after, Jamie came out of hiding and said she wanted to help. On the other hand, Charlie and his squad managed to infiltrate the mall with the help of their flagship hacker. Jamie then sends Charlie a drone, trying to distract him and his gang by revealing a location that Eddie had prepared to attack them. Charlie then orders his henchmen to go to the location, while promising to give some money if they manage to kill Jamie, and threatens to kill their family if they don't. The soldiers finally get there, and one of them dies due to a trap that Eddie has set. Ruby tried to fight back by shooting arrows and managed to hit one of them. But that was nothing to the mercenaries who had been trained in the battlefield, so they counterattacked and seriously injured Ruby. Mason manages to kill two of them with the traps and homemade weapons Eddie had prepared, and then he retrieves their rifles. Through the walkie-talkie, Eddie checked on his co-workers and seemed relieved that they had all survived. Eddie then asked Mason to stay where he was, while he would retrieve the rifle. However, the mercenaries found out about Eddie's whereabouts and attacked him, so Eddie had to escape. A police patrol car was seen heading towards the mall and stopped right in front of the entrance. Johnny tries to do his job, but his flashlight goes out, so Johnny gets out of there to alert the police. However, his attempt was spotted by a sniper on the roof of the building, who shot Johnny dead before reaching the police patrol car. Eddie then asked his co-workers to gather at the toy store. Eddie manages to bring down one of the mercenaries and grabs his gun, then kills the other mercenaries who are guarding there, where his action is apparently being watched by Charlie through a CCTV camera. Vance and Ruby come out of hiding, but they are attacked. Ruby rushes to save Vance, asking him to flee immediately. At the same time, the mercenaries who had found out about Mason's whereabouts then tried to kill him. However, Eddie arrived just in time and managed to kill them all. Eddie and the others managed to get to the toy store and hide there. Charlie, who witnessed the whole incident, became very angry and decided to intervene himself to kill them all. Ruby finally died because the injuries she suffered were very severe. Vance seemed so devastated by the loss of the woman he loved, and also who had saved his life. Eddie then asks Jamie to hide, and gives her a doll which has a weapon hidden inside. Jamie then tells Eddie about her life that has been haunted since her father's death, because the 666 were after her. Eddie seemed sympathetic and apologized to Jamie for not understanding the situation. But Eddie will keep his promise to protect Jamie, and once again refuses Charlie's offer to hand the little girl over to him. Meanwhile, Mason sees the U.S. Marshal's car arriving in front of the mall. On the other hand, Eddie sees a suspicious van that turns out to be Charlie's radio van, where the mainstay hacker is on duty to accommodate the mercenaries' attacks. Eddie suspects that the hacker has blocked the signal so they can't use the phone. Eddie intends to go out the back door to meet the U.S. Marshals, and ask Vance to stand guard in front of the toy shop. However, after Eddie leaves, the mercenaries manage to break into the toy store, and Vance engages in a fierce firefight with them. On the other hand, the US Marshals ask Eddie to kneel down and point a gun at him, but Eddie says that he is not Jamie's kidnapper and just a security guard. Eddie then motions for Mason to take Jamie to the US Marshals, but in the process, Eddie sees the 666 tattoo marks on their necks, and makes Eddie realize that they are part of the criminal gang that is trying to fool Eddie by posing as federal agents. On the other hand, Mason, who had already come out of hiding with Jamie, had to face the attack of the mercenaries and was shot dead. Vance eliminates the remaining mercenaries to aid Jamie's escape, but he is badly injured and lies helpless. After taking down gangsters disguised as federal agents, Eddie tells Jamie to go and fetch a radio to signal for help. It turned out that Eddie and Jamie's conversation could be overheard by Charlie, who was also listening through the walkie-talkie. Charlie also orders his remaining men to kill Eddie, while he will look for Jamie. Eddie then rushes off to get rid of the radio van to get the phone signal back on, and manages to knock out the mercenaries before Eddie is attacked by Charlie's second-in-command, a man nicknamed Dead Eyes, who is a tough fighter. The two of them engaged in a fierce battle. But Eddie was finally able to subdue him after a long fight, and rushed to escape in a motorized trike in the mall, and then used it to crash into the radio van. Dead Eyes tries to attack him again, but Eddie can kill the man using the gun Vance had in his car, which Vance had previously informed him of before Eddie carried out his plan. Eddie also managed to shoot the sniper guarding there, killing him. Although Eddie also got shot several times. Meanwhile, Charlie stalks Jamie at the mall, and tells the little girl how he too was abandoned by his father, and offers to look after and care for Jamie in exchange for her silence. Jamie had managed to escape, but Charlie managed to find her hiding place and then caught her. Just as Charlie is about to kill Jamie, Eddie emerges staggering and injured. Charlie then tells Eddie that he should just take the money and go away, so his co-workers don't die in vain. But Eddie does not regret his decision, and will keep his promise. Jamie then surprises Charlie with a taser hidden inside the doll previously given to her, which catches Charlie off guard and allows Eddie to shoot Charlie in the head with Vance's gun, killing him. After that, Jamie rushed to call the police, and soon, the police finally arrived and were about to take Jamie to safety. Jamie thanked him and hugged Eddie tightly before leaving with the police. Eddie sees Vance being taken to the ambulance, having survived his injuries. A few days after the incident, Jamie visited Eddie at the hospital, and told him that his daughter must be lucky to have a father like him. Her uncle then came to take her home. The film ends by showing Eddie recovering and reuniting with his wife and daughter. The moral that we can learn from this film is that we should have a high concern and sense of humanity, as shown by Eddie and his co-workers who are willing to sacrifice their lives to protect a little girl they don't even know. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. You should watch the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more video like this.